What's going on, guys? Billy here, and today I want to talk about iPads, mainly focusing on the iPad Mini 4. The mini series of iPads hasn't seen a refresh in well over 2 years, which makes this the newest model. I originally bought this for flying my drone, but have found myself using it a lot more each day alongside my iPad Pro 12.9 inch, which is one of the most powerful tablets on the market. With that being said, today in this video I want to answer one single question: is the iPad Mini 4 worth it in 2018? In the technology world, being a 2-year-old device makes this thing a borderline dinosaur, but to really determine if this is still worth it 2.5 years later in 2018, we need to compare it to what else is on the market. The specs on the iPad Mini 4 are really nothing to be blown away by. With a 7.9-inch display, a Touch ID sensor, and a 720p FaceTime camera on the front, it's pretty much standard for anything that came out in 2018. On the back is an 8-megapixel camera that records video in 1080p, so while it gets the job done, I don't think many people will use their iPad as their primary shooter. Inside, powering the iPad Mini 4 is an Apple A8 chip, which for comparison was the chip inside of the iPhone 6. Current phones feature A11 chips, while the newest iPad Pros use the Apple A10X chipset. In terms of the Apple iPad lineup right now, there's 3 other choices. First is their iPad, the 9.7-inch display entry-level iPad. It's literally just titled iPad, nothing else. And then they have their Pro iPad, which comes in 2 different screen sizes, the 10.5-inch and the 12.9-inch. And then after that, of course, we have the iPad Mini 4, which awkwardly sits in between the iPad and the iPad Pro. Now, to determine some of the specs and I guess the differences between these iPads, I've made a small chart to compare them, and they go from left to right by price. This means that the iPad Mini 4 again is $70 more than the newest entry-level iPad that came out just a few weeks ago, even though that new iPad is bigger and more powerful. It even supports the Apple Pencil, which is one thing that the iPad Mini 4 unfortunately doesn't do. Not only do we have to look at what's out right now, but also what's on the horizon for the iPad series. Rumors have been spreading of a refreshed iPad lineup that would add some of the new features first seen in the newest lineup of iPhones, the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and 10. These features would include Face ID, slimmer bezels, and upgraded internals, specifically speaking, a new processor. You guys are looking at some mock-ups that I found online, and while this isn't a video specifically looking at iPad rumors, it's pretty cool to look at predictions and mock-ups. With that being said, there are also rumors spreading around out there that Apple will be discontinuing their iPad mini series, meaning no iPad Mini 5. And if you're someone out there who loves to get the newest tech at all times, be on top of the iPhones, iPads, Macs, all of that stuff, you may want to wait until WWDC, which I believe is in June. As I said, I own 2 iPads, the Mini 4 and the Pro 12.9-inch. The speed of the iPad Pro is incredible. I mean, it truly is a tablet that could replace your computer with some software exceptions. One of the things that I love about the iPad Pro lineup is the quad speaker array. So there's 4 speakers in total that just sound great. On the other hand, the iPad Mini just has 2 speakers on the bottom that sound below average.
Behind, I just wanna see the light. Even if it makes me blind, I just wanna see the light.
The final comparison that I want to make between these 2 devices is their size. Just because the iPad Pro is bigger and more powerful doesn't mean it's better or a better fit for certain people. Some of you guys out there really value portability, and the footprint of the iPad Mini 4 is much smaller. As I said, I use this thing for flying my drone all the time, and the greatest thing about it is its size. It fits in my backpack, no problem. It fits in the tablet holder of my Phantom 4 Pro perfectly, and I can even use this tablet in both hands while typing a message with my thumbs. Truth be told, this right here is the perfect size for an iPad. It gives you the iOS experience on a larger screen and handles it really well. Keep in mind, this iPad shipped with iOS 8, I believe, or maybe iOS 9, pre-installed, and all of the newer versions of iOS are made for these newer devices with more powerful internals. In my daily use of the iPad Mini 4, I rarely ever see it slow down, whether I'm flying my drone or if I'm just getting some work done. For example, if I'm opening up the multitasking menu, at first there's a small hitch, like it's not as smooth, but once it gets going, it's as smooth as any other device that I'm using. It can even run 2 apps side by side perfectly fine. There's no lag when scrolling, and although it might not be the most practical because of how small the screen is, the functionality is there. Now again, just really quickly, I want to make sure I'm getting this across. The performance of this device right here is great. The only reason I was seeing it hinder when I was using the DJI Go app is again because I was screen recording while doing that, and when I'm not screen recording, it works perfectly. I think, in my opinion, this right here is the perfect tablet to fly your drone. So right now, my final conclusion about whether or not the iPad mini 4 is worth it in 2018 is yes. I'm very impressed with how well it handles switching through applications and heavy workloads or even playing games. The battery life is great, lasting me days with light to moderate use, and overall, I really can't emphasize how much I love this size for a tablet. I get the big screen and I can handle the device like a phone when sending messages, writing papers or emails, and even when I'm just scrolling through the web. So if you're someone out there who needs a tablet and you don't want to break the bank and you don't need the best of the best, I'd recommend the iPad mini 4 to you. It's only $399, although that price could drop with new iPads releasing. It's the perfect size. You can take it anywhere with you. I mean, it fits in my backpack, fits in my car, fits in my pocket sometimes if I've got a big sweatshirt on. And finally, you get 128 gigabytes of onboard storage, meaning you can bring anything with you on this tablet. But guys, hope that you enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave me a comment down below letting me know if you have an iPad, what iPad you use, and if you have this here, the iPad mini 4, let me know what you think of it. But guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll talk to you later. Peace.